Figitus, figitus, summa kazing. I want your attention, everything.
Good evening. So I am back in my flat in Manchester, or Stockport to be more exact, and I am in my reality cardigan. This is so cozy, I love it. I think it's from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I'm not sure. I got this from ASOS about a year ago, and I'm also in my Crash Bandicoot t-shirt. I have my tea and my stack of books mug for a book haul video. This is kind of my first book haul video, but this is kind of like the biggest book haul I've ever done. Normally, if I buy books, I might buy like 3 or like 5 at once, or maybe just 2 at once. But because I got my tax rebate back in July, I was like, I'm going to buy a shitload of books now while I can afford it. First of all, I bought The Mirror and the Light, so I'm reading that at the moment, and I have almost finished it, so I'll probably finish that tomorrow, but I'm really loving it. Can't wait to do my review videos on this. This is where I keep my TBR pile or my recently bought books pile, and then I transfer them onto my other bookshelves that I buy here. Let me twist it around. Ooh. Yes, so let's go through them. Some of them I have read already. Only these ones I've read already. So that is Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel, Gilead by Marilyn Robinson, and Real Life. I've already done videos talking about these ones. Let's get on to the pile. First up, we have A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. When I read Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood, the epigraph of the book comes from this, so I wanted to check this out. I don't know anything about astrophysics or black hole theory or any of that stuff, so I want to know more about that. Next, I have The Outsiders by Essie Hinton. Apparently this is about unruly teens, and she only wrote it when she was like 16 or something, so excited for this. James Baldwin, If Beale Street Could Talk. Not read any Baldwin before. Sometimes in classes we've read excerpts from his stuff, but I've never got an actual book of his before, so cannot wait. Mr. Leatherman by Bernardine Evaristo. Heard a lot of good things about this. Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. A Little Life by Hania Yanagara. Trumpet by Jackie Kay. I've not really read any of her poetry either, but I am very intrigued by her, and this is meant to be really good. This is her... Is it one of her only novels? Not sure. But if I really enjoy this, I'm going to get some of her poetry as well. Shadow Dance by Angela Carter. This was her first novel. I love this edition of it. When I read the Angela Carter biography, The Invention of Angela Carter, he wrote about how she wrote this, and she wrote it before she actually started her English degree. So then when she was at, I think it was Bristol Uni, she was doing this English literature degree, and she already had her first novel out. I'm like, oh my god, Angela. The Heart of a Woman by Maya Angelou. I think maybe this was written after I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, but I've not read any Maya Angelou before, so can't wait for this. Supper Club by Lara Williams. One of my friends from uni recommended this to me, and she said that I would love it, so bought this. Has a lush cover. Apparently it's meant to be about these girls who are at like a Weight Watchers class kind of thing, and it's meant to be really weird and surreal or something. It sounds interesting. Some Rimbaud. I've not really read much of him, but I want to. Some Rilke. I have looked at some of the translations of Rilke stuff in a poetry class a few years ago, but I want to come across some more of him. Rendang by Will Harris. This is like one of the first poetry publications from Granta Poetry, so I've heard lots of good things about this one. Tender as the Night by F. Scott Fitzgerald. A friend is actually lending me this, so it's not really mine, but yeah. The Discomfort of Evening. Very excited for this. This has just won the International Booker Prize. The Music of Time by John Burnside. This is like non-fiction, kind of like a poetry essay book about poetry in the 20th century. Not really read any John Burnside, but thought this looked good. And I actually stole this from my parents' bookshelves. This is a really horrible edition of The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. It is a hardback, but I thought I might as well because I probably might not get round to it otherwise. Blonde by Joyce Carol Oates. This was recommended by Eric Carl Anderson, and the last two recommendations he's given me were Duck's New Report and The Eighth Life, which they're two of the worst literary fiction books I've ever come across in my life. So if this is shit, Eric, I'm through with you. But I have read Blackwater by Joyce Carol Oates, and I love that. And I have read some of Joyce Carol Oates' short stories, and I love those. So I am actually hoping to love this one. A Place of Greater Safety by Harry Mantel. This is about the French Revolution. Swing Time by Zadie Smith. The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I got this from one of those like charity bookshelves in Tesco. The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. I've read Affinity by her, but this was also at the Tesco shelf. So thank you, Tesco. J.M. Coetzee, The Master of Petersburg. Katie Books recommended this. Jeanette Winterson, Written on the Body. I've wanted to read this for years, but this is a lush edition. What Belongs to You by Garth Greenwell. This is like an ex-library copy, but this is meant to be very good. How Much of These Hills is Gold. This is on the Booker long list. And I also have The Private Joys of Nena Maloney. I talked about this in my Booker predictions video. I was hoping this would make the list because it intrigued me. Can't wait to read it and see how I feel. Shuggy Bane. The last two I have are some biographies. So I have Alexander Pope, a biography by Maynard Mack. And I have Byron, Life and Legend by Fiona McCarthy. These are some big chunky books. So I can't wait to dive into these. Yep, so that's all the books I've bought recently. Let me know some of the books you've bought recently, or if you've read any of these books that I've bought. Alright, bye.